Test 1 2 1 2. 1 2. Test.
Joyful, joyful noise, make a noise, stand up for what you believe and make a noise. Make a righteous, righteous noise. Shaking is toy, shaking is toy, make a noise.
We'll do that right after my sermon.
Yeah.
That's the anthem.
Yes.
I thought we were starting with that.
No.
We're not starting?
No, that's the anthem. Oh, jeez.
I'm going to put it right here.
Oh yes, Linda put it there.
Linda put it there.
No, Linda is the master.
Oh, we're gonna wave to Linda.
Linda, we have to, because she said she'd be
Streaming
watching.
in Israel, Linda.
She's going to be watching.
She said she would.
You know,
What's the time difference?
So, at this moment,
It's at about middle of the night.
it's 2:21.
In the morning. Okay, so maybe she won't be watching us.
And in Haifa, she may be in Tel Aviv tonight. Haifa, well, it's 49 degrees, and it's after 2 o'clock in the morning.
Well, maybe she'll just watch the recording then. So, are we all set with dinner as far as because we want the kids up here as much
Are the kids gonna be sitting up here the whole time, or how's this gonna work?
Okay, yeah.
So let's just check.
So who are the players? You?
Me, Cody, and Jason's doing piano. And he was doing
Jeremy was playing.
Jeremy has done percussion with him, but he's doing percussion in high school now for the marching band in this winter percussion program. So he's in practice all day long. But he's playing vibes, Jeremy, with double mallets.
Wow. That is
but
cool.
there we are. And so, you know what? I bought Henry for Hanukkah, Christmas. A harmonica
I'll just put up as well, so that just for a little extra, we'll add an extra.
Yeah.
Much fun.
I'll show you some video.
That is so much fun. I couldn't get Josh to do an instrument, and Marina, he's got a beautiful voice, but she's so shy, and she won't do it. When she was in she lived in Russia, she sang. I wanted her to join the choir, and she sang. She has a wonderful voice. But anyway, and it was just so fun. It wasn't for music school. Josh never would have found his voice because growing up he was like completely tone deaf. Just sit down and play with him. Sang for him he said, enough of that, I don't have to sing anymore. So
It's funny to watch them watch it. I told you, he's really started to wheel. He really has.
Josh was flipping out 2 months ago. He started shaving. He had to.
And Jeremy too.
He's like, 13. I'm trying to be shaving that.
It'll work first.
Josh coming out in the sun.
Really. I told him that I am seeing that from
Huh?
I told him I'm about to see that from and he's like,
What?
in the scenes with the dad, like, I don't want him in his home. Is it? Or what time is it? Oh, no, not quite.
No, we're still a minute or two away. So everything's good.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we practiced and it's never quite the same without we're gonna do our best. Very best.
Dad celebrated his 96th birthday this week. He was born on January 15th. So one week ago. And then, nice day.
So there was cake.
There was cake, there was song. Throughout the day there was song. Multiple iterations, lots of phone calls from family and friends, which was nice.
Your brothers come in, or they FaceTime, or
FaceTime. The one from California FaceTimed. And the other one from Boston just called.
So you have 2 brothers, 3 of you all together?
So it's pretty remarkable. See this guy. He's after the stroke, we weren't sure how he was going to bounce back. That's just remarkable. Short-term memory is really good. He lives day by day, and he'll remember some of what happened the day before, or maybe a little bit of what happened. But it's not unusual for him to
Shabbat Shalom. The first two of our sixth graders have arrived. Right, this will be for a little bit later.
Well, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome on this nice cold evening. We're going to warm it up with a lot of good prayer and a lot of good song. So throughout the evening, Bonnie Bogley and I will be helping you in leading the songs, and please join in wherever you can and as frequently as you can. We're going to start off tonight with Hine Matov.
Page 128.
Hine Matov U'Manayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov U'Manayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov 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 Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, and again, welcome. And Linda is in Israel this week. And we're so grateful to Bonnie and Larry. We turn to page 120 for candle lighting, for Hadlakat Hanarot, kindling the lights of Shabbat. And we invite forward Sandy Gold and Paul Medina to lead us this evening in candle lighting. It is found on page 120.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter the sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Thank you. We turn now to page 138 for Lachadodi, page 138. We'll be singing the first, the second, and then on page 139, the 9th verses of Lachadodi.
Lechadodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zavor v'dibor echad, Hishmianu el hamiuchad Adonai echad, Shemo echad, L'Shem u'Tiferet v'Litila lecha dodi, Likrat kalav, Pnei Shabbat, Nikabela, lecha dodi, Likrat kalav, Pnei Shabbat, Nikabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha, ki hi mekor habracha, merosh mekedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshava tekila lecha dodi, Likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat, Nikabela, lecha dodi, Likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat, Nikabela. Boi v'shalom, ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'solola, toch emunei am sigula, boi kala, lecha dodi, Likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat, Nikabela, lecha dodi, Likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat, Nikabela.
We now turn to page 144 for the Chatzi Kaddish, page 144. We join together.
Yikadal, Yikadash, Shemrei Rabbah, V'amati Rakrutei, V'amlik Malchutei, V'chayechonu Yomechon, Uv'chayecho Beit Yisrael, Bagala, Bagala, Uv'izman Kariv, V'yimeru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevorach, Le'olam Olam Me'omaya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitpar, V'yitromam, V'yitnaseh, V'yithadar, V'yithaleh, V'yithalal, Shemei Dekudashah, Brehu, Le'elam Im Kol Birchatav V'shiratav, Tush V'chatav V'nechemata, Damiran B'yama, V'yimeru, Amen.
We turn to page 146. We rise for the Baruch Hu. Adonai, Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai, Hamevorach, Le'olam Vayed. We turn to page 149 and we read together at the top of the page in English. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and seasons glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'ma'ariv Aravim. Page Page 151, we read together in English at the top of the page. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too.
Its mystery beckons,
Yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Page 152. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Please be seated. The Ve'ahavta, page 154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol lebavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta b'ham b'shivtecha b'beitecha uv'leftecha v'derech uv'shokbecha uv'kumecha Ukshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu latotafot bein einecha, uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha, leman tiskeru, vasiten et kol mitzvotai, V'ten kadoshim le'elokechem, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, lehiot lachem le'Elohim, Ani Adonai Elohechem. Emet, I read towards the bottom of page 156. When your children witnessed your dominance, they praised your name in gratitude, and they accepted your sovereignty. Moses, Miriam, and all Israel sang to you together, lifting their voices joyously. Mi Chamocha will be found on page 158.
Please, everybody join in. We know you all know this one.
Mi chamocha b'alim Adonai, mi chamocha nehedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eleh, nora tehilot osef eleh, mi chamocha b'alim Adonai, mi chamocha nehedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eleh, nora tehilot osef eleh. Who is like you, O God? Your power is awesome and mighty. The eternal reign forever, forever and ever. Mi chamocha b'alim Adonai, mi chamocha nehedar b'kodesh, no that section, that prayer is part of this week's Torah reading, Mi Chamocha. On page 160, I read towards the bottom of the page. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Vishamru will be found on page 162.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafas Shabbat vayinafas. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat l'dorotam berit olam.
We turn to page 164. We rise for the tefillah. We'll be chanting the prayers on the right-hand pages, beginning page 164, continuing to page 170. Adonai, Sefatai Tiftach, Ufi Agi Tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Velohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Velohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zecher Chastei Avot Ve'imachot, U'mevi Geula Livnei B'neihem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, V'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeha
hakol ata Rab lehoshia. Mechalkel chayim bechesed. Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim. Shahomech noflim verofeh cholim. Umatir asurim. Umekayem emunato lishene afar. Micha mocha bal gevurot umido mehelach. Melech menitu mechaye umatzmiat Yeshua. V'ne'eman ata lechayot ha'akol. Baruch atah Adonai Mikayeh HaKol. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated. As I mentioned, this week's Torah portion includes the children of Israel celebrating their freedom as the sea parts and they are saved from Pharaoh's chariots. The people sing Mi Chamocha, who is like God. In the Midrash, it speaks of two Jews, Reuven and Shimon, having a different perspective. When they stepped into the murky sea floor, it was understandably muddy. It was like a beach at low tide. Reuven says, "What is this muck?" Shimon says, "There's mud and clay all over the place." Shimon says, "This is just like the slime pits of Egypt." Reuven says, "What's the difference? Mud here, mud there, it's all the same." They grumbled and complained, they kvetched the entire way across, never once looking up. Reuven and Shimon never understood why on the other side everyone else was singing and dancing. They were unaware of the miracle they had experienced. In contrast, we are taught not to take things for granted. We do so by celebrating the blessing of freedom and by praying that the blessing of peace will be felt by us in our own lives and throughout the world. Our prayer, Shalom Rav, for much peace, page 178.
Wait,
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol shalom. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol ha-shalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam.
Tov Beinecha
Levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam.
Shalom. Shalom Rava Yisrael Alecha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rava Yisrael Alecha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
We turn to page 180 and we pause now for silent prayer.
Oh, say shalom, bimromav, huya say shalom, aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru, amen. Oh, say shalom, bimromav, huya say shalom, aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru, amen. Oh, say shalom, bimromav, huya say shalom, aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru, amen.
We now turn to page 371. Each Shabbat, we pray on behalf of dear ones within and beyond our congregational family. And I invite you to raise your hand, and after I silently acknowledge you, speak the names of persons for whom we should pray this Shabbat. Page 371.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishabera imotenu mikor habracha
going to do Allie's reading as we start things off. The 6th grade students here at B'nai Israel Religious School have just begun studying about the civil rights movement. They have been learning about how many ordinary people, even children, were very brave to turn words and ideas into action that changed our country forever. We are very proud that many Jewish people participated in and helped lead the civil rights movement. In class, they have learned about Jewish American history and the many contributions that Jewish people have made and continue to make for our country. Tonight, the class will read some inspirational quotes from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We hope that these quotes inspire you to be part of an ongoing opportunity to make a difference for justice, peace, and equality for all people everywhere. And now the words of Martin Luther King Jr.
Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that.
Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?
Our lives begin to the end of the day. We become silent about things that matter.
Change does not roll in on the wheels of inevitability, but comes through continuous struggle.
Love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend.
There comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe, nor politic, nor popular, but he must take it because conscience tells him it is right.
If you can fly, then run. If you can run, then walk. If you can walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward.
Great, thank you. Now you guys get to take a little bit of a break, and I wanted to say something about what we're doing this evening. I've been asked, why is Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday a Jewish holiday? The person wanted to know why each year our synagogue continues to commemorate Dr. King's life and legacy. This isn't the first time we've gathered in the sanctuary to honor Dr. King. It's an annual event. Over the years, our students have publicly shared from this bima thoughts about Dr. King, as was just done so well by our 2 members from the 6th grade Kita Vav class with us tonight. They've set the bar higher for next year's students. This is also in keeping with a wonderful curriculum on American Jewish history for our 6th grade class and our 7th grade class that was written by Abby Peklo, our religious school director. But to return to the question, the questioner implied, don't we have our own Jewish heroes? Why should there be a Jewish religious observance for a Christian minister? Indeed, there are synagogues where Dr. King won't be mentioned this Shabbat. We Shall Overcome was not written by a cantor. It's an import into our closing hymn repertoire. Here is my response. We have plenty of Jewish heroes. They are the focus of numerous Shabbatot and holidays. In remembering Dr. King and his leadership in the nonviolent civil rights movement, we celebrate a modern example of the timeless message of our Torah, the struggle for freedom and fairness. We demonstrate that Judaism's focus on human dignity continues to be meaningful for us and for others. Of course, honoring Dr. King is also an opportunity to recall the role of our own Jewish community, as the guys mentioned, who worked for years and years as strong allies within the civil rights movement. You may not have known that the NAACP, still a leading civil rights organization, was founded in the living room of a Jewish family in the aftermath of the 1903 Kishinev pogrom. Knowing a pogrom to have been an organized attack with government support against Jews in Russia, the NAACP's founders expressed similar concern in how group lynchings of innocent African Americans were happening throughout America's southern states. So too, most folks are not aware that immediately prior to Dr. King's rising to delivering his famous "I Have a Dream" speech in Washington, D.C., the speaker had been Joachim Prinz, a Reform rabbi who spoke about being a refugee from Nazi Germany and the shame of the Germans' silence in the face of hate. You can check out his speech on YouTube. How telling that Rabbi Prince's remarks led directly into Dr. King's, as a determination not to be passive or indifferent engenders dreaming. Our hopes begin with the courage to speak up. Dr. King himself addressed the historic partnership between the African American and Jewish communities in a speech to the American Jewish Congress in 1958. Dr. King said, "My people were brought to America in chains. Your people were driven here to escape the chains fashioned for them in Europe. Our unity is born of our common struggle for centuries, not only to rid ourselves of bondage, but to make oppression of any people by others an impossibility." Notice how, for Dr. King, historical memories are not pitted against one another in rivalry, but form a basis for collaboration and friendship. Notice how, for Dr. King, the pursuit of freedom and human dignity was never limited to one's own group. This is in keeping with the Torah's description of God making the first human in the image of God. Our rabbis taught, a human ruler mints a coin and they all look the same. But the Holy One shapes all human beings in the divine image. That is, we all share God's imprint, and as such, we are all to be treasured as part of one human family. With none to boast, my background is somehow better. So too, Torah says that we all have the responsibility, ve'ahavta l'recha kamocha, to love our neighbors as ourselves. Back when racism and prejudice against African Americans were still thought okay by a majority of Americans, inspired by our historical experience and sacred texts, Jews within and beyond our own congregational family were likewise part of the effort to bring change. I'll share just one example of many tonight. Tonight's Oneg is co-sponsored in honor of Sandy Gold's 70th birthday. Sandy herself has told me how proud she is that her mom, Bee, led one of the first racially integrated Brownie troops in the Bronx. Hence, Dr. King's birthday is an opportunity for us to share our own best recollections and reflect on our identity. And in so doing, it's also worth remembering that Jews and African Americans are not mutually exclusive groups, and we Jews and our dear ones come in a rainbow of colors. A final reason why I find it most appropriate to honor Dr. King here this Shabbat. He grappled with many of the same issues that we do. In his sermon, How to Believe in a Good God in the Midst of Glaring Evil, Dr. King advised, "It is difficult to explain the presence of evil in the world of a good God. But it is more difficult to explain the presence of good in a world of no God. That is, without God, there's less hope of good. Dr. King's message of hope was grounded in his belief that God existed, an idea first proposed by our own Hebrew prophets. This is an increasingly alarming time for Jews and others. We see a world and our nation retreating backwards as hateful words have prompted hateful actions. What will we do? I pray that by transmitting and upholding the insights of Dr. King, we help to advance good not only for ourselves, but for all. May our generations continue to recall in this sanctuary he and other righteous persons amongst the nations for blessing for years to come. Kein Yehi Ratzon, be this God's will.
Do you all have the handout with the words on it? You got them there? You want to distribute them for the next one? We'll wait till you do that. That'd be good. There's 3 songs on the handout that we'll be doing as we come towards the end of the service that Linda and the 6th grade have chosen. We hope you'll sing along. The first one is called Make a Noise. And the tune is pretty catchy. It comes up pretty quickly, so when you get the hang of it, please join in. Make a noise, make a joyful, joyful noise, make a noise, stand up for what you believe in, make a noise, make a righteous, righteous noise, Schweigen is toy, make a noise. Okay, time out. Everybody got that? Schweigen is toy, silence is death. There's a little bit of Yiddish in there. So it blends some folk and some historic references there. Let's try it again. Make a noise, make a joyful, joyful noise, make a noise, stand up for what you believe in, make a noise, make a righteous, righteous noise, Schweigen is toy, make a noise for justice, make a noise for peace, make a noise for the water and the air we breathe, make a noise for the orphans and the widows who cry, stand up against the ones who want bombs in the sky, make a noise, make a joyful, joyful noise, make a noise, stand up for what you believe in, make a noise, make a righteous, righteous noise, Schweigen is toy, make a noise for love, make a noise for care, make a noise for the planet that we all share, make a noise for courage and a truthful song, stand up against the ones who say you are wrong, to make a noise, make a joyful, joyful noise, make a noise, stand up for what you believe in, make a noise, make a righteous, righteous noise, Schweigen is toy, Schweigen is toy, make a noise.
We turn to page 586. We rise for the Aleinu. Moradena, we invite you forward to open our ark. Page 586. The Aleinu that we chant is the second paragraph down on the page. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, la'ated gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kagaye haratzot, velo samanu kamishvachot adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'god aleinu ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Please be seated. Thank you. V'ne'emar, one day, page 591.
Or on your handout.
Yes, I think these words are on the handout too, right?
Yeah.
You guys can follow along with these.
Sometimes I lay under the moon. I thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray, don't take me soon. I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't wanna fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play. One day, one day, one day, oh, one day, one day, one day, oh. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech kol haaretz. One day, one day, one day, oh, one day, one day, one day, oh, my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't wanna fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play. One day, one day, one day, oh, one day, one day, one day, oh.
Page 598. And we now call to mind our own beloved dead. I ask that those in mourning or remembering the anniversary of the death of a loved one and who have trekked to the sanctuary during Shiva or Shloshim or for Yartzeit, should you be able, please rise when their name is mentioned. During Shiva, we remember Rita Posner, the aunt of Ron Kovner, and Walter Chandoha, a friend of Ivel Kovner. During Shloshim, we remember Sylvia Schwartz, the mother of Yuri. This Shabbat, we remember the Yartzeits, the anniversaries of the deaths of Anna Alexander, Jacob Brandwein, Celia Fetbroth, Isaac Gaber, Sam Golub, Edward Gorman, Jean Krebs, Tilly H. Lax, Israel Menaker, Arnold Polikoff, William C. Shepard, Morris J. Sherman, Harry Simon, Fanny Sperling, and Teresa Troy. If there are additional names to mention for Kaddish this Shabbat, please feel free to rise and say their names now. A practice.
I don't remember the date. I know it was in January. It was my grandmother Rose Joseph. And a very brief thing about her was she was simply enveloping her.
Thank you. If there are other persons for whom who wish to offer a reflection or reference about a dear one on our Kaddish list this Shabbat, we invite you to do so now. We recall those American troops who have died this past week. Recently, Sergeant Cameron Medoc from injuries sustained in Afghanistan, and Army Chief Warrant Officer Jonathan Farmer, Navy Chief Shannon Kent, and DoD civilian Scott Wirtz from wounds sustained in Syria. Each Shabbat, we mention 6 names amongst the 6 million murdered in the Holocaust, the Shoah. We now remember Bertha Hofmeckler, Garrick Hofmeckler, Lieb Hofmeckler, Sonia Hofmecklerin, David Kowarski, and Zelda Kowarski. In remembrance and solidarity, and on behalf of those for whom there is no one but us to say Kaddish, we now invite all present to rise if you are able. Page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divra hirute v'amlich malchute. B'chayecho u'vyomecho u'v'chaye d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mavarach le'olam alalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei d'kudusha b'richu. Le'ela min kol berachata v'shirata. Tush b'chata v'nechamata. Damiran b'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimaru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimaru amen. Zichronam l'varcha, may their memories be for blessing, and let us say, amen. Please be seated. And our closing hymn.
Our closing hymn, which was not written by a cantor. This is a folk hero for many of us, Pete Seeger's We Shall Overcome. It's in your handout. Please sing along. You ready to follow there?
Yeah, I'll follow this.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday.
We will walk hand in hand.
We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday.
We shall live in peace.
We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace.
one more time.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. Pauline?
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you so much. Guys, you did a great job. Really did. We're proud of you. Any good news? Birthdays, anniversaries? Midterms? Tomorrow, the 19th at 10 a.m. is Torah study. Monday, the 21st at 11 a.m., Rabbi is going to offer greetings during Waterbury's Martin Luther King Jr. commemoration. This year it's going to be held at Zion Baptist Church, 137 Pearl Street in Waterbury. Then Rabbi is back here at 2 p.m. for the Tu B'Shvat program. He'll lead us through some text and prayers in honor of trees and the environment. Tuesday, the 22nd at 11 a.m. is Rabbi's discussion group, and then at 4:15 is religious school. Friday, the 25th, 7:30, Erev Shabbat services, and the theme for that night is How Can We Cross the Aisle? What Makes AIPAC Significant? And music by our own Lisa Siegel. We have some upcoming events. Saturday, February 9th at 7 p.m., the fundraising committee is doing a game night. We're going to have games here. Feel free to bring games. It's open to all age groups. Fill up a table. The only thing we ask is that you bring a dessert to share. We'll have coffee, tea, and some beverages. February 20th and 22nd is the Interfaith Introduction to Judaism and Shabbat class and a dinner. All are welcome. Please call the office or Michelle Rosen for more information. And again, if anybody shops at Laban's, I'm sure we're all in there, please bring your receipts in because we do get something back from Laban's. And tonight's Oneg is co-sponsored by the parents of the 6th grade students. Thank you. And by Sandy Gold and Paul Medina in honor of Sandy's 70th birthday. Happy birthday. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. And that is your daughter Risa's show sold out yet? Is your daughter Risa's show sold out? Is the showing sold out yet?
It's the first one sold out, and they're opening up another theater 15 minutes later for the same show.
So if you didn't see our announcement earlier.
This time, there's more tickets available because they are opened an additional theater.
So Yvette's daughter Risa has a movie she wrote called Egg about parenthood, or questions around parenthood, will be shown this coming Wednesday at, and I guess the second showing would be at 7:30? 7:15.
It's very exciting. I'm all verklempt. I can barely remember my cheat sheet. I'm so full of knacks, and I want you all to share it. I think it raises a lot, the movie raises a lot of questions, and particularly a question about why is there never anything to read or see in a movie about a choice not to have children. So it's about choices, and she wrote this movie as a way of working out the answers to these questions for herself.
And I understand if we can't make those that evening, that I read that it's being streamed on iTunes as of this week. So page 123 for Kiddush, and we join together. All in Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech
מכל העמים, בשבת קודשך, באהבה וברצון, הנחלתנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש השבת. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, המוציא לחם מן הארץ. אמן. Shabbat shalom.